Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Around the Game, finally, after a long time, of course. I'm your host, of course, tonight. I'm called Vinny Juro, and I'm with Coach Brian Wathum. You're very welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
How have you been?
I'm okay.
Corona?
No corona for me at least.
Okay.
Yeah, I try to take the SOPs serious. And, a lot of people don't take it serious, but if you have people who work for health systems and if you have people who are essential workers, you understand that it's a real threat and we really need to take care of ourselves during this time.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
It's really very good to have you on the show tonight, and we just want to find out about Coach Brian. Can I call you Brian or can I call you Coach Brian?
Everybody calls me Coach B. So.
Okay, about Coach B today. So, why basketball out of all sports?
Oh man, I remember when I was young, we used to play a lot of sided football games, with my friends. I grew up in Macquarie University, so we used to be like 20 kids playing on small playing soccer. So I got really frustrated not having enough fun playing soccer with a lot of kids. So we happened to walk by pool court one time. I think I was about 7 or 8 years old, and that's how I started learning the game slowly. And then, like they say, the rest was history.
History. So, how did you? I want to find out exactly when was it you and you were like, which was that moment and you're like, okay, now I'm going to begin playing basketball forever. What year was it? Like, what inspired you exactly?
Well, to be honest, I would be lying if I knew what happened. I kind of entered into the system. I was indoctrinated into the system when I was young. I know from the likes of Bryant, Chirunji, he's now the manager of Patriots in Rwanda. Then there was a guy called Chati. Chati was one of the founders of Blue Jackets. Those are the guys who made me interested when I was really young. So to the point that we started Blue Jackets Junior. Our fiercest rivals then was Rhino Junior. So the likes of Coach Manda were in Rhino Junior and later went to the senior team of Rhinos. Same
Yeah.
thing for us, like in Blue Jackets. And basketball was fun those days because senior teams always had junior teams. Power always had a junior team. Falcons always had a junior team. So you find that the young kids were competing amongst ourselves before we were put into the senior team. So I can say those two gentlemen and maybe a few others later on were most inspirational for me in terms of playing the game of basketball. So yeah, I think I was about 12, 13 going like from P7 going to S1 when I really fell in love with the game. And when I went to secondary school with the skill set that I had learned from earlier, I was a bit too advanced for my class. So like in Macquarie College, I remember in 1996 when we hosted Sprite, I was there, but I was a ball boy, but I was part of the team just because in S2, what I knew in S2 compared to my age mates then, I was a bit kind of advanced. I knew the game, so I was part of the school team and one Sprite. And we hosted and won Sprite then. So those are the small things that kept me falling in love with the game.
Okay. So, let's talk about it in detail. Your basketball history, the teams you've been to, high schools you've been to, all that.
Um, uh, okay. I started in Macquarie College. I was a point guard. I didn't really play much high school basketball. I wasn't part of the superstars then. I mean, there were more talented players than me at the time,
Okay.
and I can say the competition was really good. We had the likes of Ken Bayegis, Alan Taoda, Joshua Sally. That was the time when schools like Cambodia, schools like Vienna were beginning to step up. And also as Macquarie College, we really didn't have a big name, but we're one of the powerhouses in basketball at the time. So I think my playing career started from Macquarie College, both in O level because I was there in O level and in A level. And in A level, I captained the team in the Independence Cup where we reached the semi-finals, but eventually lost to Cambodia in the semi-finals. From there, I continued to play the game of basketball on the pickup level. Then I when I was in Macquarie University, I think my first year, right before we just entered first, I think I had a very bad injury. I tore my ACL and I was out for almost 18 months. And
That's
it
crazy.
has never been the same for me ever since. So, and it's during that time when I got that injury that I started appreciating coaching.
Yeah.
And one of the things the family doctor, I remember him telling me is that if you still invested in the game, you have to remain a part of the game and try to be. So I started getting interested in talking to players and telling them how they can improve their games, and that is how I started coaching. So from there, I think I went back to Macquarie College School as a coach, high school coach, and I coached them for 1 year. Then Nodium came knocking on the door, so I went to coaching Nodium. I think that was where my basketball career as a coach kicked off when I started coaching.
Okay. Let's talk about No-Name a little more. I know they are legends. Can I call them legends now? Kovacic, Bryant.
Of course.
Those are guys who came from No-Name. Talk about No-Name. I mean, you coached these, can I call them boys by then?
Yeah.
And they're now successful. The foundation is always the most important. And I believe, I don't know if I remember Kovacic was in Ndeje secondary school, and from high school and joining a basketball team in the league is that first team is usually very important. So I'm very sure you nurtured him pretty well.
Yeah, but if you know Koma Ketch Ben, I don't think there's much naturally you're going to do. He's a very talented player, very skilled player. When he was in non I remember vividly, like he only used to play for us during holiday time. Like he was in India. He never used to play for us like during the school time. But every time we got holidays and we saw Koma coming for a game, everybody would breathe. Okay, what? We're going to win this game. So when you step on the floor, it's like he has been with us the whole time. He hasn't left. That's how special or talented of a player he is.
Okay.
His game speaks for himself. He knows how to acclimatize with everybody. But we know him. We were one tight group because we did everything together. We grew up in Macquarie or in and around Macquarie. We trained hard every time in the mornings. Early in the morning, there were a lot of people who were sacrificing their time to come and have a 1 hour session, 1.5 hour session. Then even because we don't have a court, we would go as a pickup team, full court, and what we've been working on in the morning, we try to execute in the evening. That was our training basically.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made us a band of brothers. And from the likes of Steven, Richo Balemwa, Kyle, Andrew, even Tauda played for us one season. We always had players who were coming in and out, and they knew how hard I used to push them. And my coaching philosophy was based on some of the coaches who were coaching me in high school. So it was a proven coaching philosophy. So it helped us as a team, and I can say we made a name for ourselves.
Of course. So apart from Kovacic, who else was in that no-name team we can talk about? Was Balemo in no-name?
Yeah, Richard Balemo was
Okay.
in no-name. Founding. Those are founding players of no-name. Amos Lesuk was in no-name. Mugisha Steven was in no-name. I don't know if you remember, he's in the US right now.
Okay.
His dad was the sports teacher of Macquarie University. If I don't mention, there was Baldwin Okello. He was my neighbor. I grew up with him. He was my next door neighbor. He was, I think, one of the most brilliant point guards I've ever coached.
Okay.
Before. And he has his kid brother also. It's called Timothy. Tim was also a no-name. We were young guys. We were floating in uncharted territory. But most of us, the thing about it is that we were a band of brothers because we grew up together.
Yeah.
I mean, there was also Tony Onyait. He grew up in Macquarie. There are so many. I could go on and on mentioning names, but the truth is we were who we were because of how we invested in each other as friendship, and that friendship showed when we played.
So how easy was it for you to coach these players? Because I believe you were in the same age bracket with them.
I think it was easy because I found the team when it had been established, but all they lacked then was somebody to guide them, and I was already doing that with Macquarie College. I was getting some knowledge in coaching from Macquarie College, and I picked up bits and pieces of other coaches' philosophy, and it worked for us.
Okay.
Whatever formula we came up with, they were ready to buy into it. Even if I knew sometimes I pushed them to uncomfortable positions, but that is what coaching is about: the ability to put a player in an uncomfortable position and make sure that they can thrive from that uncomfortable position. And that is what these guys were. They were a group of guys who were willing to do anything that I asked them to do, even if it was pushing them to the limits, and I would really push them. but the results
Yeah.
would be seen on pace. So it became so easy. It became so easy to play games, and I'm not saying easy to win. I'm saying it became so easy to win, it became so easy to lose, because there is actually such a thing as easy to win and easy to lose. You can still lose a game,
Yeah.
but when you left everything on the floor,
Yeah.
and that is how we used to play. We used to come in with our yellow jerseys and leave everything on the floor.
On the
and
floor.
go. So yeah.
Okay, so from no name, did you move to power after that?
Yeah, it was so unfortunate that No Name couldn't thrive as a team. Everybody was transitioning. We were going to the next step in our careers. We couldn't sustain ourselves as a team, so we were literally going to break up till I met with a gentleman called Peter Mamba. That time he had just come into the country and was a big Power Ardent fan. So he went into the recruiting business and he recruited Koma, he recruited me, he recruited Amos, he recruited Richard Ballimore. We were the core of No Name. We all left No Name and we went to Power at that time. And Power at that time was also looking for players like that, young players they can invest in their future and the future of Power basketball. So it was only right for us to go to Power at that time. So that's when we shifted to Power.
So how easy was it? Can I call it transitioning from no name? Of course, no disrespect, because it like died,
Yeah.
and then to power. Power. I believe. I think I got to know you because of coaching Power basketball team.
It
Coach
was so
Bryant.
yeah.
I mean, you're all over YMCA, Lugogo, everyone's like, that's Coach Bryant, that's Coach Bryant.
It was easy.
Induction.
It was easy. It was very easy to transition. But this is going to sound contradicting. It was very hard because we all loved No Name. Like it was hard to see us walk away from something that had built us, something that had made us, and then now we're going to another team that is already proven. Now we have to prove ourselves again. Me as a coach and these guys as players. It was easy, but it was tough business. But I can't say it was a good thing that it happened to us. I mean, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't because of that transition.
Yeah. So I mean, you won 3 championships with Power.
Yeah.
Power used to be, can I say, I think in 2000, between maybe 2006, maybe to 2013. Okay, to date, I can say to date,
Yeah.
Power is still one of the most successful teams in Uganda. I mean, if you look at the basketball crowd, it's basically power all day. If you need guys to fill up a stadium in Uganda, it's basically going to be Power.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was excited when we went to Power. I remember that preseason was one of the best preseasons we had. We won the tournament in that preseason. But what was more interesting was we were going into a culture that was already there. That you're talking about it. Everybody was talking about Power. You know, we were transitioning. I mean, the team Power at that time was a force to reckon with. If anybody mentioned, if you are going to mention Falcons, the next best deal would be Power, because at the time Falcons were the 6-time champions. Power were trying to catch up with them in terms of championships. I think we joined them around 2, 3. But everybody talks about the championships that we had won in Power in 2008, 2010, 2011. There were nice championships, but I was an assistant coach and I was just learning then. I can tell you, even I don't think I was even a certified coach then. I'd never attended, I didn't even know what coaching clinics were, so and to me that is, as we go along in the show, I think that is something that from where my career was built when I started attending coaching clinics. Now I started understanding the game from a different peripheral. It wasn't about, okay, then I don't think we had YouTube or Google, but it wasn't about going in the internet and copying drills and coming and doing them in practice. Now you go for a coaching clinic and then you understand why you're doing some certain things. You start putting question marks to what you're doing. So I think that's something that shaped my career when I joined. Those past 3 years was amazing to be a part of such a great group.
Okay. So your first championship came in 2009 with Power. 2008. I believe that was one of the best Power teams ever.
Yeah.
If you can remind us of some of the players in 2008.
No, me one player stands in. I remember when we were playing Falcons, they were killing us. They were killing us, and we sat down with Coach Andrew, and then it was 2-1, I think, or 2-0. We were on the brink of one more game. We will be on the elimination series. So I think we sat down with Coach Andrew, and we did a progressive analysis of what had been working for us from the beginning of the season till that point in time in the finals when we were losing to Falcons. And I remember there was only one vivid thing in the middle of all of that, and that was Ben Comer's. We knew that this guy had been carrying us silently the whole season. So we decided to just tweak our offense around some certain things. Actually, first of all, we stepped up our defense from playing 25% or 50%. Now we start. That's the year when we really invested in our press defense. Everybody would know if you're going to play power, you're going to play team that's going to press from the beginning for 40 minutes till the end. Whether we're playing, we didn't care whoever we were playing at the time.
Yeah.
That's the season I think we really worked on our press defense, and every team knew if we're playing power today. I mean, this weekend, this whole week, we're going to go and practice how to beat a press because that was our identity.
Yeah.
So we stepped up our defense. Then we kind of surrounded our offense around Ben Comer's, and he deservedly won the MVP that year. So I think he stands out as one of the players who helped us.
So who were some of those players who were in that team in that year?
Oh man, if I go naming
Okay,
players,
like starting five.
do I remember the starting five? It's like 12 years ago, yeah?
Of course, Ben.
Oh man, I can't remember the starting five. Poor guys are going to kill me.
Okay, so there was Isaac
There was
Afidra.
Isaac, there was Ben, there was Ken Baliejusa, there was Alan Tauda was there, there was no, Alan Tauda came in 2010. That was after. It wasn't in there in 2008. There was Shell, I remember. There was
Chiveru.
We had the unconventional players, but I'm telling you, the players who understood the coach's philosophy.
Okay.
And they were ready to execute the coach's philosophy.
I don't want us to talk about Power like so much. I want to focus on you.
Yeah,
but I want to ask you this. Where did Power get it wrong? I mean, you guys back in the day, I mean, from 2008 to 2011, that's when you last took a championship, right?
Yeah, first and foremost, I wanna correct you that I don't think Power got it wrong in any other way. Management is part of any team, and for the succession of any team, you have to have a management that has the best interests of players.
Yeah.
And I'm not disrespect any of the managers that were in Power, but we were at the time, and what I see as a difference between then and now was at the time then we were playing for a lot of passion. The money was coming in, the sponsors were coming in, but it was the level of passion was higher. The group of players we had was higher. But as we kept growing as a team, as we kept going forward as a team, and even after when I left, there are a lot of things that transitioned in Power that I felt ate away in the core of the team, you know. And for me personally speaking, I think the way the players were being managed during my time after could have been done better. Nothing went wrong. It always happens when teams are moving from one place to another. Something has got to change.
Yeah.
When it changes, it either affects you or it gets better. Unfortunately, in the instance of Power, when they try to change things, it did not affect them the right way.
Okay. Okay, let's move on from Power.
Yeah.
So from Power, you went on to...
I stayed at Power. I remember before Power Junior was decentralized, when we bought Hitters. So we became Power Hitters, became the junior team Power Hitters.
Yeah.
All those championships I won as an assistant coach. I didn't win as a head coach.
Yeah.
So when I went unbeaten, when I coached Power to a very unbeaten run, and there's a year there, and then I remember Zone 5 came, and then we lost, and then I lost my head coach job back to Andrew. I was given the head coach of Power Hitters, and that is for me where my stepping stone started as a coach, because you do not really test yourself until, as a coach, you don't really test yourself until you go and coach in those lower leagues. That is when you understand how beautiful the game
when Comer's bed is not there.
Yes, when for me personally, I feel that is when I enjoyed my coaching career, because now I have a bunch of nobodies. So what are we going to do to get the best of our players? I had it before with No Name, but No Name, like I said, was the first team to passion. But now I have a team where people are beginning to realize, okay, who's Coach Bryant? How comes he's coaching? Okay, let's see now. He was in Power, now he's been given a junior team, he's now the head coach in the junior team. Let's see what's good. And I think that year we were beaten by Rhino in the final. Marco Pio Rhino.
Yeah.
Yeah, he beat us in the final. We were swept in the final. We didn't even take one game. But that was for me one of the best transition times as a coach. I was not afraid to coach players who don't have the so-called names on their back.
Yeah. So from KIU Titans,
Yes.
you went on. You still. When did you coach Night Riders? Because I know
I'm
you are
still
still a
coaching.
Night
I'm
Riders coach,
still coaching.
and it has been for a long time, right?
Yeah, it's for free. I've never. It's my pro bono team. I feel like as a coach, you have to have that one team. Yeah.
Yeah.
That you do something for without anything
Yeah.
anything that you want back. Like so my deal with riders has just been one thing. If they need me, I'll always be there for them. Even when I'm busy, even when I'm not, as long as they need me, I'll be there for them. It's hard to commit and be there 100%, but I can tell you the times I'm there, it's because I've wanted to be there and I could be there, and that is why I was there. But from hitters, I think Night Riders came 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
3-4-5 years ago, that's when I came. But after Mook hitters, I had a transition time when I was not coaching a bit. I trying to finish up school, I'm turning into a man now. I'm trying to get my life on track.
Yeah.
There's a time, for a very brief period of time, I didn't really coach much. Then that's when JKL came knocking on the door, and then I started again.
Okay. Tell us about JKL.
First family. JKL is like first family to me because the owner is a very good friend of mine, Mr. Freedom. When I met the first time I met Freedom wasn't in terms of basketball. He's a friend outside the game. So when he came up with the idea of he wanted to start two teams and he wanted me to be at the helm of both those teams, it was a no-brainer. I said yes because I know him as a person. I was willing to work with him as a manager. So I just went running straight to JK, and I was excited to come back into coaching. I'd taken almost 2 years not coaching, so I was really excited. Rusty, but excited to come back into coaching.
How easy was it to? I don't think it was. It was anyway hard to you because no name, then KIU Theaters, then you also had JKL. You had to start from the scratch.
Yeah.
How easy was it to manage that? Those teams you actually coached both teams and won championships with them.
It's not easy. It means it's back to back, but we had an arrangement with the management of JKL. Coach Henry Malinga was supposed to be tandem coaches.
Yeah.
I was not a head coach, neither was I assistant coach. We were associate coaches.
Just coaches.
Yeah, we were just associate coaches. We were helping both teams. So I used to help. It was Monday to Sunday business with both JKL boys and girls. Yeah, I loved the chance because I'd done it before, and I liked what management was doing. The recruiting policy was one of the best recruiting policies I ever witnessed, and I was glad to be a part of. So it was easy in a way that management and the players were willing to help the coaching staff make the team that it is today, both the boys and the girls. So it was very easy for us to get the job done while I was in JKL.
So when was JKL formed?
Okay, I did my research there.
Okay, let me give you an example. It's been like, can I say, 5 years or 4 years since, like 5-6 years since JKL was formed, and I'm sure you're the one of the founding members. I'm sure when Freedom sat down with you, he set out his goals. We're in 2020. Do you think JKL's goals have been fulfilled? The goals they set out to achieve?
I think we set up JKL, if I'm not mistaken, 2015. No, not 2014.
Yeah.
Or late 2013. I'm not so sure, but 2014 maybe. 5 years down the road, I think for the ladies' game, it's an overachievement. I mean, to 5 years, and then to go from what you were before and then where you are now in the ladies' game. I think the ladies have been they're kudos to the management. They've done a big job. Winning Zone 5 is not an easy feat.
Yeah.
And you do that within 5 years of establishment. Then you know that you have a team of managers who want to see something succeed. With the boys, I cannot say it's not a succeeded, but it's more of boys basketball is tough. You can see the competition that we have. outside the top 6, if you put a black line on City Oilers and you come down the Knicks, anybody of the rest can win. So I think for the boys, they can do a much better job. But like I say, their management has a very good recruiting policy. And from the rumors that are going around, and you hear see the players and the coaching staff that they're building around, you can see that the management is serious about
basketball.
the JKL boys mirroring the JKL girls.
Yeah.
The management is serious. They want the boys to be just like the girls. So I think they're doing a good job in the next 5 years, and we need teams like that. We need people like that, because this game of basketball is. I was talking to a very good friend of mine. He's a reporter. And I was telling him, people even think that we are semi-pro. We are not semi-pro even in our league. We're still amateurs.
Yeah.
There's nothing you get from investing millions in a team, buying players, buying this. A manager or an owner is going to spend a lot of money, but there's nothing he's going to get in return. So we're at the point in time where it's for the love of the game, and I think that the game needs such people who are willing to invest in a team, and regardless of the outcome, they still want to pour in as much money and facilitation for their teams as they can.
Okay, so from JKL, you became the assistant coach at KIU, right?
Yes.
And
again, I took time off during then. Before I came to KIU, I took some time off. I was getting married. I was having a son, so not coaching again. I took almost a year off again after JKL. Then manager Nasa came knocking on the door, asking if I could be an assistant to Coach Hamza.
Yeah. So tell us about KIU. This is the latest now. You've been putting on Titan.
Oh yeah. I bleed green.
Not green, not green. I know.
Yeah. KIU. It was an opportunity that came, and when manager Nasa came knocking on the door asking me to be an assistant coach Hamza, it was a no-brainer. I went straight for it. I was excited to be back at the game, and I can tell you, I keep telling people every day, if you want to be good at what you're doing, you have to learn every day.
Yeah.
You have to learn. If you do not learn something, then it's a wasted day. For me, if I don't learn something in basketball, it's a wasted day. And I have to make sure I gotta learn something, even if it's just watching footage, even if it's just researching something small, even if I'm saying, okay, I'm going to play Vinny's team, let me go and learn something about Vinny, he's a talisman. I'll go and watch small intricate details just to get better every day. So working for Coach Hamza was amazing, because I got a chance to see or to assist one of the best coaches in the game. So every day was a learning stepping stone for me when I was in KIU. So I appreciate the fact that I was given an opportunity to work with Coach Hamza. Unfortunately, you win some, you lose some, and when the records begin speaking for themselves, when the numbers begin speaking for themselves, a lot of people do not get satisfied, because we live in a world where you cannot have everything.
Yeah.
So it was unfortunate that his tenure as a head coach ended and my tenure as a head coach began, as an interim head coach began. And that year, when I became the interim head coach, was during playoffs, and that is the year I managed to take the team to the finals and still got beaten or swept by the eventual champions.
So how was it like from assistant to interim during the playoffs? Wasn't it a challenge?
No, I keep saying, I think this basketball game is not built to make you fail. If you stay prepared, it becomes easy to get the job done. I know that to get the job done means winning a championship, but I was given the opportunity to coach during the most important part of the season. It's tough business to just jump on a team that's in the playoffs. Now all eyes are on you.
Yeah.
You're playing teams that have probably beaten you or even swept you.
Yeah.
Now you're playing them in the first round. I remember I think we played Warriors, so everybody was counting us out. They're like, this is what they're going to beat them. I said, okay. And indeed, they beat us the first game, but we went on to beat them, I think, 2 more games after that. So it was tough. It was really tough, but like I said, this game is not built to make you fail. I think we prepared well, and there was little to nothing I could do. All I had to do was bring my A game as a coach, and the players had to do the rest. So I think that's what they did. The players did the rest, and and just try to help them technically and tactically to get the best out of them.
Okay. I happen to be a fan of KIU on like one of the social media pages. I mean, start of this year, you lost crucial players. Can I call them crucial? Was it this year or last year? This year, right? Yeah, you lost crucial players. And of course, that means you guys want to begin something new. Let me let you talk about it. You're the coach. Let me not think for you. Tell us the plan. I mean, you've lost Sudi Ulanga, Balungu, just to mention a few. What's the plan?
Right now we're rebuilding. Let's. It's every team has to do that, and for us, unfortunately, we are a university team. So earlier, before we were, I could say, we had almost 70% of the team. No, let me say we had almost 30% of the team as actually studying students. So when we sat down as management, we believe that as KIU as a brand, we can manage to attract quality players to the university. But we would not only want to do that, we want them to we want them to actually be the university team.
Okay.
So that when we're going for university games, the face is not different. It's the same
Yeah.
team that's playing in the league.
Like you see.
Yes, and it's competing in there. So after much deliberation, we decided for the best interests of the club that there's some certain players who had done us a good job, but we felt like if we were going to the rebuilding process, they wouldn't help us that much. We would actually be tying down so many people who want to put in the same positions as them. So it wasn't with regret, but it was with a lot of sadness that we had to let go of some certain players. Some of them are personal friends to me, and to look them in the eye and say, we're not going to do this again this year was tough for me. And everybody saying, where are you going to get the players? It's transition. When you set up a 3-year, 5-year plan, it becomes easy to get to that point. So we sat down and did a serious recruiting drive, and then maintained some core players. We did not lose anybody. We maintained some core players. Core players, we believe, who have the ability to nurture the younger players.
Yeah.
So that in 2 to 3 years, we have a complete university team that is competing both in the university league and the
local league.
We understand that's going to be tough. We understand that some of the results will not be the desired results that we want, but at the end of the day, what we're doing is very inevitable. It's what the team needs to do for us to become a much better team in the next couple of years to come.
Okay, so the fans outside there should not lose hope.
They shouldn't lose hope. We're actually going to play a very exciting brand of basketball, different from the one that we used to play.
Okay, we trust you, of course. You're the coach. So let's talk about Bryant, the national team coach. Let's talk about him. Tell us about him.
Oh man, I love Uganda. So to be appointed as the under 18 head coach team was one of, I think for me, the top of the mountain in terms of coaching for me, because I love working with kids. I love working with raw brains. I love how you can get those brains together to get the best out of them. So when I was appointed, I was really excited. It's only that this global pandemic took us back, but we were supposed to host Afro basket qualifiers in June under 18.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was going to be another stepping stone for me to showcase what we've been doing. And we had started preparations for the under 18. We had started camp. We were doing daytime camps. Actually, we were even doing residential camp at Mamba. We had started slowly by slowly. And this is something I want to commend the national team and the federation for. They have changed their way of doing things now. The preparation for tournaments is now way much better than it was before. So we were really in the front running to. I think we're going to have an exciting tournament. Then the world pandemic happened. It's amazing to work for the country, because that's where you're dealing with the best of the best. I remember when the under 16s went to Rwanda for Afro basket qualifiers, I was asked again by management and Coach Yoni to assist him. For me to go with the under 16 team and see how far our neighboring countries, let me even say our neighboring country is, because we're only 2 men's team that Afro basket qualified. It was us and Rwanda. it really opened our eyes, and I can tell you, really, our neighbors have just a little edge ahead of us. They have started doing something that we should have done a long time ago. They did it like 5 years ago. So if you look at their team now, if you look at the under 16 team, which is going to become the under 18 team, you start realizing that those kids were prepared way 6 months before. They were even studying in the same school. They were even playing exhibition games against the likes of Kami during the league. Of course, those games were not tallied in the league, but they were also in the fixtures of the league. So those kids were being prepared for. So it was by no surprise of the result that happened when we were played them twice. The first game, I will not even talk about what happened. It was a beat down. But of course, when you go back, you realize, you sit down, and you re-strategize. We played some decent basketball in the second game, and they didn't reflect the score. So me, I'm very proud to play for my country. To coach for my country anytime. So it's exciting. It's nothing I've ever experienced. The traveling, the exclusivity you get, it's amazing.
Okay, so you're also an assistant coach on the national team. And recently, I remember I heard over the news you guys are assembling a team to go compete in Egypt Afro Basketball qualifier. Tell us about the current team and everything.
I think for me, I always, because when we're doing club preparations here, I always help Coach Monday. I'm always assisting him with the national team, and I have seen so many teams come in and out. But this group here has been the toughest group that I've ever seen. I've never come across a bunch of players who are disciplined. I've never come across a bunch of players who are always on time. They don't complain, and they compete for 3 hours non-stop. It's gonna be. I know some people are saying the list is out, that the people they have selected, and you're here to say nothing has been confirmed yet. Yeah, if it wasn't, I don't know about it, but what I can tell you is that this is the toughest selection headache we're going to have. Yeah, because all the kids are talented, no doubt. All the players are talented, no doubt. So to pick out 6-7 players who are going to accompany the other 6 players in Alexandria, Egypt, is or was going to be a tough job.
Yeah. Okay, so let me get a little bit personal now. Who's your role model when it comes to coaching?
Personally, it's Greg Popovich.
Popovich.
Yeah.
Why?
Spurs basketball is pure basketball, and it is pure basketball in the sense that even if they don't have superstars, even look at their current team now, just watch them play, even when they're losing games. You see, that's the thing. I think that's for fans, but as coaches, it gets to be way more than winning and losing. When I watch Spurs play, I'm amazed that she can get those group of players to play like that. So I'm not talking about current Spurs, but if you talk about the Spurs basketball, the Team Dunkers, the Nobodies,
he's actually the one who made them.
Yeah, it's to watch those guys. I mean, we're talking about 3 superstars who don't play like superstars, who play
and they don't
like
take
as
themselves
if,
like
yes,
stars.
They play like the other teammates are the superstars.
Yeah.
It's just that when you need me to step up, I'll step up. But I don't need to step up if we're all playing together.
Yeah.
So I think one of my role models in coaching is Greg Popovich. His coaching style is something. I watch a lot of film on how he conducts practices. I watch a lot of film on how he does the Team US training. Yeah. It's amazing the kind of principles and the kind of fundamentals that he can hold his players accountable for. And then when you look at them, you're like, but that is the simplest thing in basketball you have to do. That's the basic that you have. That's the fundamental. Yeah. Why is he insisting on that? Yeah. So there's a reason why he is more invested in teaching the simplest way to play the game, the most pure way of playing the game.
Yeah. Okay, then your all-time 5. Yeah, your all-time 5. I want to get your all-time.
Ugandans?
No, national, international.
International, all-time 5s. Wow. I would. That's tough. But I'll try. I'll start at point guard. I think he was the most underrated point guard, never to win a championship. So Allen Iverson. I think I put Allen Iverson at starting five right there. Number two, Vino. I miss Kobe, man. I miss Kobe Bryant. I'm a Celtic fan. He was a Los Angeles Laker all his life, but for some reason, his work ethic got me, and that is why I will always vote him as the best shooting guard to ever play the game because of his work ethic on and off the floor. So I think at number two, I can give it at Kobe Bryant. Number three, um, he's considered the greatest of all time, but I know there's some people who don't agree with him. But the way he changed the game is so obvious. He has to be in my team. So I think Michael Jordan should be in my three-man. He will be definitely the three-man position. To me, at four, it's a tie. Why? Because one is actually the greatest player still playing, and that's LeBron James. LeBron James, I'll put him up at four, give him that. But I would also have a case for the most pure nurturing scorer ever, and that is Kevin Durant. So
Yeah,
if you have Kevin Durant on your team, that's a certified bucket. Yeah.
of course.
And I'm talking about a certified bucket who takes pride in his efficiency. That's a different kind of monster.
Yeah,
If you have a player who knows I can get 35 points, but out of taking 16 out of 20 shots, it's when you understand that you're dealing with a different monster.
yeah.
Not that he's going to get 35 points, but he has taken 40
40.
shots and he has made 16. No,
Mm.
cut that in half. He's taken 20 and he has made 16. So that's why he's a scary player. So I'll put that tie there. If I don't know if it makes a disparity.
Yeah, it does.
I'll put that tie there. So at five, I'm a big lover of defense. I love players who their core comes from defense. So if you're the energy man on defense, if you're saying, hey, you gotta go here, hey, stop that man, hey, Kevin Garnett for me is the kind of guy.
The big ticket.
Yeah, the big ticket is the kind of guy I would put at five and make that my own.
Okay. Talk about. I want you to briefly talk about Kobe and Michael Jordan. I mean, Kobe was asked about between him and Michael Jordan, who is better, and he was like, "How do you ask me if I am better than Michael Jordan?" Yes, I learned all this from Michael Jordan. So talk about Kobe and Michael Jordan, how they changed the game, their work ethic, and how much you miss Kobe, of course.
It was tragic what happened to Kobe Bryant. I mean, life has a way of taking something away from you when you least expect it. But I think the game of basketball is especially this is where now I think many people underrated Kobe. The game of basketball, especially the women's game of basketball in the US, was about to change because of Kobe. Many people didn't know that how invested he was in the WNBA. He was trying to start up a partnership with the commissioner. He was going to get them bigger deals. He was a woman advocate for seeing that women get paid. Women basketballers, women athletes get paid as much as male athletes. We were celebrating a championship here of the Lakers, and I saw a statistic of the disparity in income between the MVP LeBron James and the many people didn't even know the WNBA was also in a bubble going on, and the MVP was so bad, and there was a big, huge disparity in terms of finances, but yet they both impact the game in a very, very high way. So I think one thing that the game of basketball is going to miss from Kobe Bryant is that he was going to start advocating for women's basketball. And me personally, I was inspired by that. I said, this year or in the year to come, I'm going to make sure that somewhere, somehow, because I walked away from the female game of basketball, somewhere, somehow, this year or the year next, I'm going to start slowly trying to involve myself into the game of basketball, so the ladies' game of basketball. Maybe if it's one individual player, I'm trying to help them develop a certain skill set, or maybe it's a group of individual players. I know some great people, like I know some great ladies programs like Kobe who I've worked with before. So that's how Kobe inspired me when he passed away. I realized that we need to start investing in this game of basketball in different ways. So yeah. As for Michael Jordan, hands down, I mean, he's the greatest player of all time. I'll go on record saying that. Many people again will argue that he's not. I keep insisting, if you're going to bring up LeBron's name, I think we need to wait for him to retire.
Yeah.
Then we start talking about
True,
him being
true.
the GOAT. We cannot start saying he's the GOAT when he's still playing. That's unfair
Yeah.
to everybody who's around him and all the teams. I understand him, he's a worldwide phenomenon. There's so many people, even personal friends of mine, who see him as the GOAT. I get that. But to be honest, the greatest player of all time, to me, has always been Michael Jordan because of how he changed the game. He joined the NBA when it was just beginning to be, when color TV was becoming popular. So no one really knew him until Phil Jackson came in '91 and started winning. But before that, he was still playing the same way. Well, he was not winning championships, but he was still playing the same way, day in, day out. And he always held his teammates accountable. That is a kind of leader.
Yeah.
So he'll say, okay, yeah, we're going to go out today. We're going to do all these things, but we're going to all of us be at practice tomorrow. And that's the same thing about Kobe. He wasn't that kind of person. I had a story about 2010 when I think Lamar had just joined, and he was Lamar Odom was that kind of player with to a party going.
Dwight Howard's time.
These things. So first day of practice on the road, and guys are planning to go out. They're traveling to play another team. And Kobe said, you guys are planning to go out? Okay, let's go out. He actually went out with his teammates. Everybody was shocked because he never goes out on the road. He's always in his hotel room, he's always in the gym, he's always prepared. He goes out with his teammates, they do all sorts of things, they go to sleep. At 4 in the morning, they have barely slept 1 or 2 hours. He's the same guy banging at everybody's door. Let's go for training, guys. And training starts at 7. But he's banging on the door at 4 and saying, get up everybody, let's go and train. Guys are like, why? Training starts at 7. He said, what we went through last night, we got to catch up in these next 3 hours before practice.
Yeah.
So that is a player who is holding his teammates accountable. And it's only right that Kobe would patent his game around MJ. It's only right. So
Yeah. Tell us about, people talk about Mamba mentality, but they don't really understand what it means.
To me, Mamba mentality, one is no days off. That was what Kobe Bryant was for 365 days a year. Even when he won a championship, 2 or 3 days later, he's back in the gym, working again and working hard. People say that he actually started enjoying his life when he retired. Other than that, his Mamba mentality was working, not playing, not going for games, working out. Like he woke up every morning at 4 in the morning and worked out hard. He was the first person in the gym and the last person in the gym. Any drills that you're running, Kobe was always the first. If you're going to run suicide, he's going to make sure he's beating. And this is every day in practice. From when he joined when he was 17 till when he retired. Yeah. Every day he was consistent and he was always teaching other players. He was a coach. There are even practice sessions where he would not train, but he spends practice sessions coaching other players. While Phil Jackson doesn't have to do much. He's just there to be the head coach. But Kobe was always teaching his teammates, always holding them accountable. So for me, I think Mamba mentality, from what I know of Kobe Bryant, is strictly no days off.
Okay. I think that's enough about Kobe.
Yeah.
Tell us, where do we see Bryant in the next 5 years?
The beauty about me is that I'm always learning. I'm a humble person. I try to when I'm coaching, when you're under my wing, I give a lot of tough love. I'm not the strict kind of guy, but I'm also not the pushover kind of coach. I know what my values are and I know how to hold you accountable. So where I see myself in 5 years is even trying to be better than I am today. I'm not talking about winning games. I'm just talking about how I influenced somebody to be a better person in life. I mean, if you come from my training session, how have you benefited? Yeah, there's a saying I got from some series. They say that when you're early, when you're on time, you're early. I mean, when you're early, you're on time. If you come early, you're on time. When you come on time, you're late. And when you come late, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
So I used to use that a lot. And then one of my players, I'll not mention, had a job interview. But because he's used to coming for practice early, you know, my job is at 10. We go at 9:30 and I prepare. So we go at 9:30, sits there. It's those jobbing the way. Hey, Vinny, you come in. Hey, so and so, you come in.
Yeah.
So when he arrived, there was no one, but he sits and waits. They come, he kept reading someone's name. The person is not there. They go back. So the lady came and asked him, "You're the only one." Said, "Yes. What time are you supposed to?" He says 10. He said, "No, you come in." As soon as they walked in, they didn't even interview him. They said, "We've been waiting for other people to come. You're the first one to come. The job is yours." So when he told me the story, I was amazed. I'm like, that is how I want to influence people. You get it? There's some values, there's some life skills that you learn in this game that can be used in everyday life. So where I see myself in 5 years, I want to be when I can look at a group of people whom I've coached and they were much better people before and after.
Yeah.
During that transition time. That's the kind of person I want to be. When I want to have the ability to influence someone the right way,
Okay.
and get the best out of them.
So next, your vision as a coach.
Um,
Have I mixed things now?
No, not really. You're right. And I need to see where the future goes. But right now, my vision as a basketball coach is to help step up the girls' game in any way, whether it is one or a group of individuals. It's going to be a primary focus of mine. So I want to make sure that in the 5 years from now, the game of basketball for the ladies especially has really, really, really developed. There's a lot to desire from in our ladies league here, both divisions. So if God can give me the ability to help the ladies in their and the ladies game, then I would have known that I've achieved something. So
Okay.
yeah.
So any regrets? Do you have any regrets ever since you became a coach?
Not really. It's not been the smoothest of all journeys. It's tough. It's hard going through the losses. Sometimes even it's hard, believe me or not, going through the winning because many people forget a lot when they win. So I believe that basketball should be a tool for all of us to use, and something I'm going to do. I'm going to use it as a tool to get me to be a better person. So I don't have any regrets at all about the decisions that I made to be a basketball coach. If you ask me if I can do it again, I can do it again without changing, not even one single bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I already know the answer for the next question.
Yeah.
Greatest moments.
All right. You tell me.
Every time you're the coach, right?
Every time. Those are my greatest. I missed the game of basketball during COVID. When they told me, "Oh man, you have an opportunity to work with the national team," I didn't hesitate. I said, "When, where, what time? Just let me know." I missed the game of basketball. The greatest moments, I think, every time. And not stepping time for the game. Me, I talk about stepping on the court for practice. That's my most favorite part.
Yeah.
I love practice because that is where games are won, and that is where games are also lost at practice. So,
Yeah.
my greatest moments are always when I go to for training with my teams. And
Okay. So I know you have a good relationship with God, and of course, without God, I know all this would not be there. I want you to tell us about your relationship with God and your parents, how much they influenced you continue and be successful in basketball.
My first and foremost, my parents are my mom is a Catholic. My dad was a Catholic, so I grew up from a strong foundation of Catholicism. You'd be a fool to despise the fact that we don't have a God. God exists. God has a reason why He does everything. God has a reason why He puts you under pressure because He knows that the beautiful diamonds are created through pressure. Sometimes when we go through bad things in life, we always blame God and we wonder how can God do this to me and that to me. But the truth is, without God, we wouldn't have what we have today. Unfortunately, my parents have never really been the kind of people who saw me go far as a basketball head coach. But as they kept understanding that this is what I love, they have always supported me. And my mom has always supported me. She's always been there for me. She's always telling me, you have to do what you love, because from what you love is when you achieve and get the best out of it, of you yourself, and how can the people you influence around. So she's been very supportive of my career, and she makes sure she's there for me. And if I need anything from her, she'll do anything for me in terms of basketball. So yeah, my parents were really. I remember my dad. I used to go home late from playing. These guys play pickup till 7. After I've been watching them play pickup, then when they go down, that's us. It's getting dark, so us we jump on the floor and play, right? So I used to go home every day and get chiboko for that. Where are you from? I said, I'm from playing basketball. I said, nah, get down, get yours. I get mine, I go. The next day I do the same thing over and over. So I think one time my dad saw me playing basketball. I didn't know. So I went back home and I was getting prepared for the usual stuff. And no one was bothered. In fact, my mom was asking, and then no, he said, I saw him playing. Yeah, he's not lying. He's always playing. So my parents have always been supportive.
Okay. So lastly, I want you to look at the camera and give the viewers outside there a word from a wise man.
I don't know about wise, but I'll try. Where can I go? Okay. To all the young players out there, all the men, the women who play even sports. I'm not talking about just basketball. Sports is a tool. Sports is a vehicle. It has the ability to take you from A to B without any problems. Sports is a multi-billion-dollar industry, but to be in the running for that multi-billion-dollar industry, you have to be putting in work. And the only way you get better as a person is when you do the kind of things that make you uncomfortable when nobody's watching. So my advice to anybody out there, if it's whatever sport you're interested in, you have to spend a lot of time working out on your own game every day. There's so many things you can do to get better. There's conditioning, there's fitness, there's so many things you can do out there. But the only way you can ever get what you want to get, you have to put in a lot of work when no one is seeing. Then when it comes the time and you've been given the platform to shine, it becomes easy to shine because you know how much work you put in before. So even when you face adversity, that's the reason why you're facing adversity, because the reason why we fall is so we can stand up and go back at it again. So even when you face something wrong that takes you back, please don't give up. Keep trying your hardest and go back and put in more work every day, Monday to Sunday, no days off. That's my advice.
Okay, thank you so much, Brian. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm excited. I was excited to be here.
I hope next time we invite you will come through.
Of course. I hope next time I'll be invited instead of interview with you. After all these high quality invites, I should interview.
I'll be honored. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Around the Game, and of course, with one of the best coaches in the country, Coach Bryant. I will see you again next time. Have a good night. Don't forget to subscribe.